something that there's no money. We don't touch the money. It doesn't reach us. It is government that pays everything. Our own is just that we work and then bring it to our constituents. I told him, Chief, are you telling me this to believe you or don't? Look at me, I'm not a small boy now. Like you are not a small boy. Look at me. These are two adults reasoning together. And you are telling me you don't make any kobo from it. He said, no, it doesn't reach us. I said, it must not reach you before you can make money from it. Now, Chief, let me ask you a question. Will you go out now secure that particular, maybe whatever, project from government, and they agree to fund it like you are saying, and they also play ball with you, you bring a contractor, what happened? You see, that is why you people will always be imputing meaning, wrong ones. I say, yes, but you want me to believe that it's only you in the legislative houses that can bring good meanings to certain things. Well, Chief, you've told me all that you said. I want to believe that. As it is rife in terms of talking about it, that you people are making a hell of money from that constituency project. I want to believe so. Don't blame me why I choose to believe so. Because I am also from a constituency now.
Right.
I have not seen what our lawmaker done, and we've been hearing it in securing such. So are you telling me that our own man hates us very well, and perhaps you love your own constituency very well? And that's how we dragged and dragged and dragged it ended. You can see when things are going this way, when arguments are going this way, do you derive anything? I called another senator. He told me the same thing. See, I'm not listening to them. Just like their salary, nobody will ever know what they are earning. The same thing about this constituency project. Nobody, everything anybody is saying, even like this group is, if any member of that group enters Senate today, he will join in that particular gravity train. That is it.
More like if you can't beat them, you join them.
Well, that's it.
Okay. Also joining us in the studio this morning, Wadi Chimenim Esquire, legal advisor, Pandef Obiakbo chapter, and a voice for Eknibo people of Apara. Good morning. Good to see you.
Faustina, you sound like a chorister this morning.
I do?
Yes.
Okay. Join me in singing.
I think I'm going to steal this voice this morning.
Please don't.
Yeah.
All right, you're welcome.
Yeah, there should be love in sharing.
In sharing my voice?
Yeah.
No. That one no follow. All right, so constituency projects characterized by corruption, lack of accountability, others since 1999.
What? You see,
do you have some of those in your constituency?
We have constituency project going on. Okechinda is one of the House of Reps member. Okay. He has done veritably well. Most of the ETF program today in Obiakbo, there are starter packs for those that are going for their PhD and master's degree. Even at the university level, the first degree, people are being catered for, in Obiakbo. And I challenge anybody here in the studio that will say that man, up till now as we speak, I'm one of the beneficiaries.
Oh, okay.
And I speak this on a good authority. We've had people, even the Mochinda, these are people that are doing well. And I can tell you for sure that we are closely marking them. One thing with constituency project, it's there in the budget. It's there and these are money that are allocated to this representative to go home and ensure that laudable programs are done in their constituency. But I think because of the aloofness of most of the people, the constituents, we don't talk. People don't try to ensure that there is this collectiveness in terms of ensuring that, call it a civil class action. Showing that
was that what you did in your constituency before you
started?
We
were calling them, we were equally, they were reaching out to us. Because one thing is that you have to remind them, there are a lot of things going on. People are begging them in their private. Apart from spending in their constituent assembly, what they do is that people go beg, we need something like this, at the expense of the larger people. So what we did was collectively we wrote a letter. People were equally one-on-one, please. So we are lacking this in our community, because you have to say something. Even in the floor, they will stand up and say, look, my community, if there is crisis in their constituents, they raise up to tell the Senate president or whoever that is representing them that, look, the speaker, we are lacking this. So it is equally incumbent on us to inform them that there are areas we are lacking. Today in Apara Community Secondary School, if you're coming towards this area, there's a community secondary school before Mbulu. It's flooded. We are shouting. You know, look at Okoronodo. I left the Okoronodo. That's my alma mater. Today the governor has heard the cries. Courtesy of Okechinda and all the rest. ETF, most of the ETF program, the secondary school, I don't know of other constituencies.
Yeah,
I'm talking about my own,
yours,
because charity begins at home. As I speak to you, the local government chairman recently partnered with, I think, Okechinda and all the rest. They gave startup pack 500. Some persons collected 1 million. Those that are doing PhD, that's a very huge one. Because when you have people that are educated in the community, you won't see all these pockets of crisis that will be resolved with mentality, simple thinking and wisdom. So for me, we have gotten it and we are still getting it. And that's why we voted for him again to go. Because if a man has done well, you want him to go again. My people will say, if the road is good, he is Ambalaro, you go twice. So the man, I'm not here to praise him. I don't live in his house. In fact, when we were having some gray areas, I called him, I did a message through the man I'm close to, whom I would not reveal here for security purposes. I had to call him, I said, please reach Okechinda out. He's not a man that hides. Immediately you do a test to him. But I can tell you today, if there is a plebiscite for we to look at the character of most of these assembly members, immediately they are elected. You won't see they will change their phone number. In fact, they are even working with MTN. They're already in the industry. They will customize their number. Well, some of them are ready to depose an affidavit to change their names. So I thank God I have an assembly member who has refused to change his name. His number is remaining like that. And I don't think that anything will change him. As I speak to you now, there are some loadable projects. Some community just need water. Some will tell you, please, Faustina, more than 1,000 students are currently benefiting. Then job. Some are on salary. Just one person. So I think if others will emulate, it will help to ameliorate most of. It's not that you can, totally eliminate crime, but it will help to kill these boys that are, not doing anything in the violence industry. You to remove them and keep them into the meaningful industry. So for me, the Constituent Assembly will have a collective responsibility to move a class action against this, legislatures or the House of Reps members who are holding our money, because it is we hold them at high esteem. We voted for them and they are representing us. We have some people don't know that it is not even a right. It is not a privilege to call. It's a right. It's a soft right to tell them, look, we are lacking this. So I'm privileged to work with an assembly member who comes home, a House of Reps member who comes home and say, look, what is lacking here? What is not lacking here? Most schools today, you can see a lot of books in those schools. Courtesy of Okechinda, I don't want to start praising him. Yeah. But these are the things that are on ground. And people go to Obiapo today, can testify.
Okay, talking about the things on ground, well, that's another thing. But we're talking about transparency. How transparent do you think all of those things, all of these projects that you've mentioned that your representative is bringing to your constituency, do you see the transparency in all of those? Okay, if let's say $1 billion was, earmarked for that, you think the $1 billion was spent, was it transparent? Do you think it's corruption free?
Faustina.
Yes.
Even the angels that walk with God, some of them were sent down. The improprieteness of man is clearly manifest. If such money had been allotted to him, I can tell you for sure, if it is 100,000 naira, of course he will have his own to do other things.
Okay.
And I'm not in his heart, but like I'm saying, from what I have seen so far, if that is 100,000, he has used 99,000. So to that extent, I can testify.
Oh, okay.
For that of, I don't know of Okechinda, I can testify. I can depose an act. When you say don't swear for some, I can swear for him. He has, to the extent that even those that are not from my constituencies are benefiting. That's from other states are benefiting, Even to the extent I say, look, I will question this, because you have to cure the madness here before you start curing elsewhere. Some of us are lacking here, sir. But if you go there, you will hear Mecca, you will hear Maka, you will hear Ngozi. These are not Rivers Obiapo people, but they are all there. So, courtesy of let me not just start.
No.
These are people that I want to. There is a song I'm writing now for him.
Wow.
Oh, we'll
it's
sing
not
it
something
together. Oh, is that why you want to borrow my voice?
No, you may not be good in tenor.
All right. Okay, joining us in the studio this morning also is Henry Ekine, National Legal Advisor, Committee for the Defense of Human Rights, legal practitioner and public affairs analyst. Good morning, you're welcome.
Good morning, Faustina. I can say that the music industry is expanding with my friend now leaving our profession and is joining. But I'll remain here in the legal profession.
Okay.
Let him sing.
Okay. All right, so we're talking constituency projects now. A group is lamenting that constituency projects are characterized by corruption, lack of accountability since 1999.
Yes, that's a statement of fact. I wouldn't want to particularize any representative, but it's a general statement of fact. And then how do I mean? We all are constituents of all the constituencies across the country. And my own assertion is actually covering the field across the country. Yes, I agree with Chimene, my friend, that you start with your primary constituency, but because it's a national issue. And by the grace of God, I'm privileged to have reason to examine governance across the country by reason of being the National Legal Advisor, a member of the National Executive Committee of the Committee for the Defense of Human Rights. We have a section that actually deals with corruption in public offices, and in this regard, we have had to interrogate even this particular subject we are discussing, so it comes quite apt in my response to it. The measure between the budget of the National Assembly, including their constituency projects, and the actual execution of projects on ground, and even the completion of these projects, will just simply affirm that there isn't any resemblance of transparency, accountability, answerability by these representatives with respect to them, and with respect to a few of them who are probably actually upright, like my friend is talking about his representative. But the general response I would have is, there has been a lot of lopsidedness in this very subject of constituency project. For us, it's the best description of a conduit, a means of legitimizing diversion of funds by representatives. And that has come every year that the National Assembly budget has come for scrutiny. You'll see the fight will come in that regard. Even between the legislature and the executive, they are insisting that the constituency projects be there. And then even the ministries and departments and agencies of government, when they come before the National Assembly for defenses, you see the issue of the projects that the representatives have considered to be constituency projects and must be included. This would have been a laudable kind of approach of the legislators contributing to their constituencies and retaining that legitimacy in a way. And then, of course, for their constituents to see them to be bringing, because they are not part of the executive. It's actually the executive that ordinarily would be connected with project execution. Though the legislators do not execute these projects directly themselves, but then their constituents would see that, oh, these are the projects that the legislators have actually fought to be brought to them. But the simple answer to the question you have asked, which is very direct, is that I hold very strongly the view, and I submit that there's a whole lot of lopsidedness in the entire execution of the constituency projects in terms of commensurate, that is the projects on ground, and then the budget for the National Assembly, or whatever projects are included there. And I now begin to be a bit particular. Most of the constituencies we have reviewed across the country, we found a lot of abandoned projects, constituency projects. We found situations of non-existence of even these projects. I can tell you that whether it's in Ogun State or in your state, we have taken a stock of even some of these. That's why I say it's quite an apt question for me. And then, but coming back to my constituency, for every reason of democracy, my community is recognized because we have a polling unit. It means that when elections come, right, the representative of my constituency. Let me begin with the council election, right, in my local government. The councillor of your local government, if you're listening, is like the legislator at that level of government, right? It's like the National Assembly person, but that level of government is the legislator. So at the local government level, is there the constituency budget for the legislators in the legislative arm. So the man who serve as my community or my ward councillor, there's no semblance of any representation whatsoever in my community, the entire clan. Incidentally, let me even tell you how really worrisome it is. I think in my local government and my class, my brother, my very good brother, because eventually it's about the first time that we had, we commend him, it's about the first time that we had an elected councillor from my area since the existence of democracy and politics in this country. But I don't think that there's even a borehole in his own village, before I talk about even my clan. To say that now that he has left office, I think it's even a supervisory councillor, to say, okay, look, this is the thing that did. I may not know what challenges he went through. Like I said, I may not even know whether the legislative arm actually had opportunity of engaging the executive chairman of the local government with respect to their constituency projects. I wouldn't know, so I can't hold him extremely to that blame per se. But the fact remains that if we begin from that very level of government, I haven't seen anything, and I'm not sure that he would even say there is any constituency project in that regard, specifically. Now, if you move out from there, the House of Assembly representative of my own constituency, which is the local government, is Ahuda West local government. We have just one constituency. The gentleman's name is one Honorable Okokri also. I am not sure that I have seen anything resemblance of constituency project from the Rivers House of Assembly in my area. I'm not talking about his community, because I have a right, like he did speak, in my area. We contributed, we voted. There are votes that came from those.
Probably that's what you're thinking about his
So
name.
where is it? There is none. Now we move away from there. The House of Representatives constituency for my local government is a combination of Obaegbe Mandoni and Ahuda West local government area. I'm not sure that I even know the name of the gentleman. So if you were quite engaging his constituents, I should know his name.
Right.
Not even just his name. I should know his constituency office. How effective, how functional is it? Then what project would I say, this one in my constituency, in my clan council, in my clan, even if not in my village, was as a result of the constituency project from the House of Representatives. Before I talk about the senator of Rivers West Senatorial District, that senator, I think they've mediated, he's still serving perhaps. It's just that we've elected one that is waiting to be sworn in, to be inaugurated in June. But the current one now, I think her name is Betty Apihafi also. She's still there, right? Now, what project would I see and say that this is the constituency project from the Senate? By virtue, and she's been there like 2-3 times.
3 times now too.
See, for me, I am this analyst that I would, because these are my representatives, I know them, and these are their names. What are the, so does it mean that in the period she's been in the National Assembly, in the Senate, there are no constituency projects? Or are they concentrated in her own community or elsewhere? I deserve it as well, and my people do, because we are constituents. So, in summary, I don't think that they are commensurate. The budget, the money appropriated, and then the projects we see on ground.
Okay, thank you very much. Moving on, we have Associate Professor Emmanuel Warner, Lecturer, Department of Political Science, University of Port Harcourt. Good morning, sir. You're welcome.
Thank you. Good morning, Faustina.
Okay, let's see if the story in your area is going to go the way of Ward Ichimenim or Henry.
The word is the lucky constituent. And it's a direct beneficiary.
I'm not.
I will come to your constituency. Sorry, dog. Please, I'll come there. Please accommodate me.
No,
Yes.
And I think I also benefit because what you was talking about, constituents are residents in the constituency. It doesn't matter whether the person is from Kafanchan.
Okay.
So I will come to your local
right.
constituency.
All right, Faustina. Let me first say that the business of governance really revolves among the 3 organs of government, and that is to say that each organ of government has its role to play to ensure that we bring about good governance to the people. And if that is the case, it means that we expect that these organs of government should be able to play their part creditably well, to the extent that their impact is being felt by the people in the local areas. So it means that, for instance, the legislature should be able to perform its functions creditably well. And we are talking about constituency project, and I think that that's one of the ways, the legislators can actually have access to the people, understand their problem, and then provide lasting solution. the constituency project thing is a constitutional issue, and I want to believe that any legislator who has the interests of the people at heart must ensure that there's what Jeremy Bentham talked about. He said there is need for the greater good for the greater number. And if you want to also execute project, I don't believe that that project should be something of a favor, where some legislators get this money and then begin to distribute to individuals who probably are loyal to them, and those who are not loyal are left outside that kind of privilege, and so it becomes an instrument of political manipulation, where you use that money that was supposed to be for the interest of generator of the people in your constituency to begin to, use it as political instrument of manipulation, where you use it to buy loyalists who probably sheepishly will believe in you, whether you're doing the right thing or not. But I think that the essence of that is for you to embark on a project that will be of immense benefit to generality of the people.
Right.
And like it is said in the development discourse, man is the fulcrum around which development revolves. Man starts and ends development process. And again, there is also the need for the people to be part of that development process, what we call bottom-top approach. You need to go to the people. You don't just sit down there in Abuja and say, well, I'm going to build toilet for them. Toilet is good for them. No! And then you go and build toilet. Some of them already have the natural way of doing
Very
it.
important.
Toilet, I know, in as much as it's important. But I'm saying that the people should be part of it. Like I've told some of my students, when I was doing my PhD program, current research, I discovered that there is this agri project that was executed in Nanka in Anambra State. It was a huge success. Why? It's because the people, facilitators, got to the community and got the people involved. They were part of the initiation, the programming, everything. They were part of it. So they were integrated into that process. And guess what? It was a huge success in Nanka community. But the same project failed in Agolo. Agolo, that's where Obi comes from. Failed because the people were alienated. They were not part of it. So that is to tell you that it is important, we adopt this bottom-top approach. Decentralization. Let people be part of what you're doing. Don't just because you are there in Abuja, you can just do anything. Do and understand the felt needs of the people. So what I see is that some legislators will just sit down there in Abuja or wherever, because of course, some of them, like Chimenem rightly said, the moment you are elected, you don't have any contact with them anymore. It is real. It is real. And so maybe some of them will just sit down there and then say, well, I want to build this, I want to build. Maybe they have considered the cost implication. What will be their own part? What should remain? And if I go on this kind of humongous project, I may not have anything left.
No.
I'm just suggesting. So they will go to anyone they want to. Let it be that, I have done constituency project for the people. It shouldn't be that. How impactful is that, project, constituency project on the lives of the people? Because you are expected to impact meaningfully. You are expected to bring, governance to the people. That is what is called deliberative democracy, consensus building. You are the grassroots. Before now, when you during your campaign, you said you are a grassroots politician. I don't understand whether you do understand what you mean by grassroots politician.
The root of the grass.
The root of the grass. And just after the election, you are no longer a grassroots. You are the upper roots or the branches.
He's been elected now, so he's taking off from the
so why not come back to your base? That is what we mean. Let people in your constituency get to have unlimited access to you. Brother, this is what is happening in our community. Can you come and intervene?
Yeah.
How many of those legislators have done that? Oftentimes you have this vacuum. I was explaining to my master student yesterday. I said, look, do you know that some of these our representatives have decided to create that vacuum? Ordinarily, if there is any problem and they have the opportunity to get to know through their regular contact with their constituency, they could nip that in the bud at any time. At the embryonic stage, they could do that. But because nobody seems to be in charge, so you find miscreants taking, opportunity of the situation, and before you know it, the problem will now escalate. So we need to have you people. Let every member of the constituency know your name, know your phone number.
Okay.
In fact, create a directory where you can, if possible, call them one after the other. CDC members, you need to have their directory. In case of anything, they also need to have your contact.
All right. Okay, we'll go on news update. So when we come back, the program continues. Stick around.
This is Today 95.1 FM, Port Harcourt, voice of the people. Every day, every hour, when the big stories break, depend on our 24-hour news team to bring you the latest. Today 95.1 FM.
Today 95.1 FM, Port Harcourt. News update.
Hello and good morning. Here's the news update on Today 95.1 FM Port Harcourt. I am Faustina Oputu. President Muhammadu Buhari has approved the termination of the appointment of the Hydrocarbon Pollution Remediation Project Coordinator, Ferdinand Gadom. Gadom will be replaced with Professor Nani Barini Zabe as the new HYPREP Project Coordinator with immediate effect. Zabe is said to be an expert on hydrobiology with extensive experience and background on remediation-related activities. Until his appointment, he was a senior lecturer at Department of Fisheries, Faculty of Agriculture, University of Port Harcourt. The Senate has mandated its Committee on Interior to investigate the circumstances causing the delay in the issuance and renewal of passports by the Nigeria Immigration Service. It also asked the committee to probe the contract for the printing of passports by the NIS. The Senate issued these directives to its Committee on Interior at the resumption of plenary today following a motion by Senator Uche Ekunife, who said Nigerians are facing hardship and stress in getting their passports. She explained that despite the 6 weeks timeline given by the NIS to process passports, Nigerians now spend between 3 to 6 months to get them. She further noted that it has become extremely difficult for passports to be processed in Lagos, Port Harcourt and Abuja, creating a situation where Nigerians who reside in those states now have to travel to other states in the country to process their passports. The Presidential Election Petitions Court has fixed next Monday for the hearing of the petitions challenging the declaration of the All Progressives Congress Standard Bearer, Bola Tinubu, as the president-elect. With this development, the expected legal battle by candidates disputing the outcome of the 2023 presidential poll will commence from May 8. The National Legal Advisor of the All Progressives Congress, Ahmed El Mazouk, confirmed the debate to journalists. He said the APC legal team had been briefed and was ready to defend the party's mandate. Also, a top official of the Election Petitions Tribunal affirmed that the hearing proceedings will start on Monday. The governorship candidate of the Social Democratic Party in Rivers State, Senator Magnus Abe, says he withdrew his petition from the election tribunal challenging the emergence of Sim Fubara as governor of the state so as to avoid a direct confrontation with President-elect Bola Tinubu. Abe, during a television interview, said there is an alliance between Governor Nyesom Wike, the G5 governors, and Tinubu, which affects what is happening in Rivers State. Abe also said that he decided to withdraw from the tribunal because he did not want to give his people the false hope that they could win at the tribunal. The foreign saying Israeli forces and Palestinian armed groups in Gaza have agreed to a ceasefire after a night of Israeli airstrikes that pounded the besieged coastal enclave, while rockets were launched towards Israel following the death in prison of prominent Palestinian hunger striker Qadar Adnan. The ceasefire went into effect at 3:30 this morning and was reportedly brought about with efforts from Egyptian, Qatari and United Nations officials. Islamic Jihad spokesman Tariq Selmi said fighting had ended by dawn today. And that was the news update on Today 95.1 FM Port Harcourt. Good morning and thanks for listening. I'm Faustina Oputu.
Today's news, today's entertainment, today's sports, today's issues. Today on Today 95.1 FM, Port Harcourt.
65 times 10,000, now 650,000. 35 times 10,000, now 350,000. So 650,000 plus 350,000.
See,
go come be 1 million.
They calculate. Oh, yeah, where the money?
Make I calculate how much CBN go pay me this month. CBN, they pay me every 3 months for my dry fish when I dey export.
CBN? As how now?
Now for inside CBN RT200 program under the non-oil export rebate scheme.
Madam Flo, so you don't have money quietly, you not tell us. But you know go let me and my fish rest every time. Your fish done ready.
Now I want to ask you, Seth, your fish done ready?
Hey, no, me Seth want to make CBN pay me.
Yes, so now Central Bank of Nigeria with joint body from Bankers Committee. Now him bring RT200 program come to make foreign money sure for ground to stop shortage and make sure say money day for manufacturer and exporter them when not do oil business. For more tori, visit www.cbn.gov.ng.
Talk radio. I listen to a lot of talk radio.
95.1 FM.
Don't worry you.
We're passionate about it.
We love talking.
We are
Your number one talk radio station. 95.1 FM. 95.1 FM. Voice of the people.
And we're back.
All right, 6 minutes past 9 a.m. Welcome back to today's quest on Today 95.1 FM. Before we, move on to the next headline, let me take some messages here. Okay, so when you are sending in your messages, do well to reference the headline that you are reacting to, okay? It makes it easier for us to, communicate this morning. And do well to know that once you type a message and you have some words of insults, you have some abusive words there, I would not read it. So it means that you are going to be wasting your £4 if you're sending a message, okay? And note everyone is entitled to their opinion. As long as they're not inciting some form of violence, so just let people be. All right, I'm just going to ignore some of the messages that I've seen there and move over to Facebook to read some comments, okay? Ewere Medino says, will the real beneficiaries of petroleum subsidy allow its abolishment? The answer is capital no. They have modular partners abroad and they are directly involved in both importation, exportation and theft of crude oil. It can only be abolished by a new and neutral president different from our regular recycled politicians, and that is why they don't want change in government. Okay. Everest Wachiku says, Tinubu's visit to River State, the declaration of public holiday amounts to rascality on the part of... Okay. Rivers people should not be deceived. Okay, so you think it's for personal interest. Oh, well. Tinubu's victory legal battle begins Monday. I just hope and pray that they will speed up the judgment before inauguration to avert mass protests. The masses are not happy because with the level of hardship, killings, high cost of living, and vote of no confidence by the citizens against APC-led government. Oh, you're speaking on behalf of everyone. I don't think that any right-thinking Nigerian will be happy seeing APC at the helm of affairs. Well, that's your opinion. I have delivered on change agenda, Buhari. On that, Hector Christopher says we can see President Buhari change agenda. The change we can see is worse than the system where he met us in 2015. President Buhari never promised to transform the economy. He only promised to fight corruption. How to wrestle corruption and how to defeat corruption and how corruption later fought back, we don't even know who won the battle. It seems corruption won him. Please, can the president now take us back to where we were before he leaves office? All right. Amity Prince, Tinubu's visit, we could declare public holiday. Our leaders keep progressing in errors like this always because one man is visiting River State, the whole economy of the state must stand still. Shop owners have to lock their shops. We can't say... Why can't he stay in Lagos and commission the flyovers online like his president did? As far as I'm concerned, this is quite unnecessary. Okay, I mean, there's nothing bad in coming to a state to commission the project if he can, So it's fine that he can come, be on ground to commission the project, as opposed to doing it online. But yeah, let's move on with some more headlines this morning. Okay, so we'll visit this one now from the Vanguard newspaper. Seems to be the talk of the town at the moment. Tinubu's visit, Wike declares public holiday in Rivers. Tinubu's visit, Wike declares today public holidays in Rivers. Governor Nyesom Wike of Rivers State has declared today a public holiday for the people of the state to celebrate Asiwaju Bola Tinubu, the president-elect, during his 2-day visit to the state. Tinubu, during the visit, is scheduled to commission the Rumola-Rumokuta flyover and the ultra-modern magistrates court complex in Port Harcourt today and a day later. Wike, in a state broadcast yesterday, said it is an honor to the government and people of River State to host the president-elect on this historic visit. Consequently, I urge all Rivers citizens to come out en masse to receive our president-elect and display the traditional Rivers hospitality as he commissions these legacy projects to God's glory and the advancement of our development. I hereby declare May 3rd, 2023 a public holiday to enable the people of River State to receive our president-elect and rousing welcome. All shops and business premises along Rumola to Rumokuta roads in Obiakpo local government area of the state shall remain closed from 8 a.m. to 3 p.m. on May 3rd, 2023. I urge all labor unions and security agencies to comply with this closure order. Okay, so that's it. I mean, even from the comments I've read on Facebook, someone says this is quite unnecessary. But, I mean, he's saying this is a historic visit. The president-elect is visiting River State to commission, project and all. And, of course, there is the part where shops have to be closed along that road, Rumola-Rumokuta roads, so that people can, accord the president-elect a rousing welcome. Emmanuel, is there anything wrong with, declaring a public holiday for the visit of the president-elect? And, of course, closing shops in that area, not shops in the entire River State. Those routes, Rumola, Rumokuta.
Even in those areas, why should they be closed? The stores. Is it because maybe, as usual, anytime the civil society group said that they want to protest, hoodlums must hijack protests. But once government has people that are protesting in its favor, no hoodlum at all. You remember some time ago, Two-Face was trying to organize a protest against federal government and all that. At that time, they came in and said it will fall into the hands of bad individuals. Elements will take over everywhere and all that. But people came out at that same time to protest for government. No element came out. No hoodlum came out. It's unfortunate. For me, I think if you ask whether a public holiday declaration is not bad in itself, it's not. But declaring a public holiday for a visit of a president-elect,
yes,
I do not understand the benefit to Rivers State. No benefit at all, economically speaking. I do not. Let me understand what anybody will tell me, including the governor that declared that particular public holiday. You see, a lot of people are hungry for dinner. And they depend. You see, the stores around all those areas they said will close. They depend on daily efforts made and gathered to feed. Now, if you close it from 8 a.m. to 3 p.m., how many hours remain? The hours that they can function unhindered. Because once it's getting to 7 o'clock, ordinarily they'll be closing. It's not all of them that will remain. But you've already taken from 3 to 8 a.m. Well, for me, I think it's all about politics. Just about politics. And, when you see, like Governor Wike has done now, I have nothing against him. He is the governor of Rivers State. There's no doubt about it. And his interest must supersede other interests. That's what I'm saying. Because that's Nigerian brand of politics. And now, his interest now is, for me, the way I feel on this particular issue, is to consolidate on the wood heart of the president-elect, that's Tinubu, to continue seeing Rivers people, and that's Rivers people through himself, so that something good could smile at him in the administration of Tinubu. Whether this or that, since he remains in PDP, but does not belong to PDP, but he remains in PDP that is in Rivers State, let it be that Tinubu will in fact recognize him within the sphere of Rivers State, but use him as a national pillar. So I think there's nothing wrong. But if you ask me, the motive is very political, because there is no economic benefit that Rivers State is going to have.
Okay. What did you mean? Let me get to you.
Well, I think in all of this, I have a different view. Public holiday is under the exclusive list, legislative list. And when you look at the 1979 Constitution and what we have today, it is a federal matter. Of course, the National Assembly can do so. And also the question, the same powers enables the state government to declare a day, special day for public holiday. It's not an apostasy. It's a subject of debate. But can a state government declare public holiday? It can. The Constitution has made us to know that by extension, that same power that the federal government can do so, the state government, take for example, if there is a state of emergency or if there is need that a particular area is. Remember during the COVID.
State of emergency.
I said, yeah, the government can declare state of emergency. The government can say today we have maybe celebration of a particular day, Easter, either the Muslim celebration. All these things are captioned in the Constitution. And like I said, it's a matter of, it's under this exclusive legislative list. And I think it's for those of us within the ambit and corridors of the law. It's not an apostasy, but what we are looking at is the timing. Is it necessary?
Okay.
At this point? Because whatever you're doing, if you are to throw a plebiscite on what happened today or yesterday by the governor, some may say, well, it is for the interest of the people. Some may say it is for his own selfish interest. Secondly, was it necessary? For me, there are two ways. This is the first time. Of course, we are playing politics. And in playing politics, so many things comes. This is the first time the president-elect will commission a project. It's an ovation within the ambit of those of us that are supporters of this party. We understand what it means. And remember, Tinubu is not a member of PDP.
No.
But this is the first time we are seeing this kind of new thing happening in the state. And gradually the governor is launching the state into an era where we don't begin to stigmatize simply because you're a member of APC. We are now his crossbreeding. And of course, you don't expect him to begin to...
Crossbreeding?
Yes, we are crossbreeding.
Sorry.
We don't want to start saying, because you're a member of... This is the first time we are seeing parties, people from different parties coming to this state to make Rivers State a rallying point. And remember, this is his first visit, and there could be dangers of. There are a lot of things going on. There are some. Remember how the famous one of the activists I respect so much, who fought a nationalist, who fought for the independence of India, Mahatma Gandhi, came to, he was so popular. But who killed him? It was one of the extremists. An extremist, Godse. Because he was not guided. Immediately he came, he was within the crowd. Godse shot him twice. What we are saying is that it's not that anybody, but there could be an intelligence. There could equally be the political, point, reference to it. Let's just make it look, nice, and let us give him the respect. This is the first time a president-elect, he is in the defense house, and you must jealously guide him.
Okay.
With the way Nigeria is going now, look at how Okewale, SAN, was kidnapped at the wee hours. And of course, you don't know what is going on. So, there could be intelligence for us to, within that area. Remember, he said from morning 7 o'clock to 3 p.m.
8 a.m. to 3 p.m.
Yes. So it means that within this interval, please let us condone the area. Security agencies, please. You can never tell. Some of us don't pay for intelligence. We don't even pay for information. In government, they pay for information. In fact, hugely. It is a salary that if you're giving information to a government that is so important, you can be paid in fact, for a lifetime. So, within the ambit of what we are asking is that, can a governor stay governor? Yes, he can declare, because the Constitution has made us clear to know that in as much as he's under the exclusive list, that the state government can equally do so, can declare for holiday, public holiday. So if an auspicious occasion is coming like this, but in the other angle, there are two views.
Yeah, you said it.
Will he deprive other people of their businesses? Is it because simply he's coming? Does his coming deprive, the businesses not to strive? Businesses are all to strive. People all to stand. But in order to give him that total loyalty, we are in the party. We know what politics entails. There are those that are grossly, when you look at them, they don't care. They can use mischief for anything. They can decide to, create a scene. And within Rumokuta axis, the influx of people, there is a market where they are commissioned. I don't know if you've gone to the flyover. The whole of those areas, there's what we call market of overt. People are selling out of market, specification. People don't care going into the man, have a meaningful, get the place where condone. He's a place, whether you like it. He's going within 26 days. He's going to be the president of Nigeria. Is he Allah? Okay. So I think it is on this ground that
my friend has come.
No, I'm reading.
You asked a particular question.
I'm reading both Quran and Bible. I don't know where God will come. Where He will come from.
You asked a particular question. You asked yourself a particular question, and I was thinking you're going to provide the answer to that particular question. You said, is it going to deprive the people?
Yeah, is it going to deprive the people of their businesses and all the rest?
Yes.
See, let me tell you, the business of government, even the Bible said that we should respect those in authority.
Okay.
Chief Baisaye Nwike is the governor of Rivers State. After 26 days, Similaye will take over the baton, and we are going to respect him also.
Absolutely.
At this point, if the governor has deemed it necessary, within that axis, remember I'm from Apana Kingdom. By his grace, I'm going to be a monarch. So we understand how people operate in these areas. You can see for quite some time kidnapping and all the rest, courtesy of what police are now trying to condone the area. For quite some weeks now, they have been searching, stop and search, which is even good. I'm happy. So if a president is coming and you allow him to be so
president-elect.
Yeah, president-elect comes in and you allow him to, people should just walk simply because they know you go and touch his clothes. No.
Okay.
We know how our people behave here. Look at how musician alone that is coming out to sing, people want to touch him. People want to invade him. So there must be a demarcation. I don't think he's trying to deprive them. But for the first time, let us respect him. Let us give honor to whom honor is. At least he has given them time. If I'm the governor, I will say throughout today.
Wow.
Because we are having him. This is the first time we are having a president-elect coming to commission. He's going to be within the annals of the history of
It's all right.
So let's give him kudos.
Okay, so let's move on to Henry Kini.
Thank you very much.
Taking over from your senior.
It's ridiculous, I would say. Let me lay a foundation by saying that sitting president in the Federal Republic of Nigeria, including the current president, has been commissioning projects. And the various places it's gone to commission projects, I'm not sure that it had warranted declaration of public holiday. The security of the president of the Federal Republic of Nigeria cannot be undermined, no doubt about that. And then that security is provided by the highest level of state security. In fact, all of the agencies, the NIA, the DMI, all the armed forces when a president is coming. Now, we are talking about legally here. The person of Ahmed Bola Tinubu is just a citizen of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. Legally as it is. He's not the president of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. There's nothing like president-elect in our constitution. There is nothing with any privileges to anybody in any of our laws. I don't know. I would first speak on the background of the law before I become, if at all, it warrants at all to be sentimental.
Okay.
On the basis of the lexicon, all of our laws, there is nothing that provides for any privilege for a person. There is no office as president-elect in the Federal Republic of Nigeria in our constitution and the Electoral Act or any other law that confers privileges. That's one. So that we don't probably begin to implant in the minds of our listeners that once somebody is elected as president or as governor, he's got some privileges that are recognized by law. It could be maybe by some party arrangement or some group arrangement, some pressure group arrangement or anything. That's clear. That's one. Two, matters of public holiday, Chimenem has actually said that they are legislated upon by the National Assembly alone by virtue of being the exclusive list. However, the Public Holidays Act 1979 actually has vested powers in the governor as well, apart from vesting, I think, Section 2 thereof, in the president that may be excised through the minister of the appropriate ministry in this time of the internal interior. Minister of Interior. That a governor may also declare public holiday. So no doubt about the question of the governor having a power to declare public holiday. I think what we're examining here is what, for me again, that maybe nobody has actually also thought. In declaring public holiday, the Public Holidays Act, it was clear, very clear, Section 4, that you must not compel anybody to do any act or omit or avoid to do any act on public holiday. We may not have probably come across that. The Public Holidays Act is a very small legislation of just about 7 or so sections. And the only schedule to that Public Holidays Act actually listed the public holidays that are already statutory in Nigeria. And if you permit me, they include the New Day, the New Year Day, the Good Friday, Easter, Monday, Workers' Day, the National Day, which is the Independence Day, the Christmas Day, and then 7, 8, 9 of that schedule provides for those Muslim holidays that are not definite but will be declared at the appropriate times. Those are the provisions of public holidays in our schedule. However, there may be circumstances that may warrant a declaration of public holiday by those, like I said, have invested the power to do so. But the important thing here is that you cannot, in the guise of public holiday, declare somebody or some person or individuals, compelling them to do a thing or not to do a thing. That's what the Act says. Meaning that even when the Federal Republic of Nigeria announces a public holiday, no person shall be compellable to do any act or not to do any act in a public holiday. So that's where the question then comes in. What then is the basis and the justification for compelling private businessmen around a part of the city not to compelling them not to come out to do their businesses? In that guise, you should give another justification. Don't say it's about the public holiday. Because if it's public holiday, the law will catch up with you. That's the duty I have here as a public affairs analyst, to tell the people. But, well, the governor is cutting the short here in the state. He has declared a public holiday. Like I said, no doubt about that. He's got the power to do so. But reasonable consideration is what we are doing here. Is it justifiable? It's not justifiable. If it's about, this is not the first time even the president has come to, a sitting president has come to River State to declare, to commission projects. There has not been public holiday. You can mobilize your people, mobilize all supporters. They can flood the streets. By the way, the businesses should even open in that axis. But provide the security so that those who probably will need water, those who may come around to mobilize, be singing. You will see our women there to go sing. I don't know which party, whether it is going to be PDP Oye or APC Oye tomorrow. So, like he said it's crossbreeding now. So maybe it could be AP. What did
PDAP.
So the man was deliberate when he said that time. Oh, that's the president-elect. So either the PDAPC Oye is what the women will sing. But what I mean is from Rumola Junction down to Rumokuta, very good, no problem, good project that is going to be commissioned tomorrow. There may be a lot of people that may need water to drink.
True.
May need some snacks to snack, may need some things to buy, and then maybe it would have been a big boost for the business people around that area. But make sure they coordinated themselves properly, and then the security agencies actually being vigilant, so that people would have even sold much more than they would have sold the entire month, and they will be grateful to the governor. But right now, even when they have opportunity that the market will be there, you're shutting their businesses down. That for me isn't quite well thought through. It's not about security thing. It's not those businesses. They want to behold, they want to even see their president-elect, I believe.
Absolutely correct.
It would have been opportunity that they would have been in the shops. Do you know what? Most of the people that would have come from far places to open their shops along that Rumola road, with this, they won't even come. But if they were there, they would have been there to even cheer the president-elect. Oh, Jagaban. They would have done so if the shops were open. But right now, they won't come when their shops are closed. So for me, then the economic implication too is not also considered. How much are they going? Nobody does any of these kind of things in making policies. We just declare. There's not much difference between this kind of democracy we practice now, with almost a dictatorial kind of picture about our leaders now, and the military regime we used to have. You just announce or proclaim and declare. Now nobody does the economic analysis as to how much, what is even the economics, the size of the economy on Rumola Road. You'll be surprised that even the commissioner of the Minister of Budget and Economic or something, nobody knows the size of the economy on Rumola Road to say on a daily basis about 500 million naira that exchanges on Rumola Road. So this policy you want to make, how is it going to affect this small size economy on this axis? Nobody does that analysis. But to the best of my knowledge, when I did public administration, doing decision making, you must analyze every decision you're going to take. The costs of that decision, the benefits of that decision. That's the cost-benefit analysis for every decision making. So I don't know how the government may have done that and arrived at this, but even if we analyze this, but another question, my sister, is this. The commissioning is not to do. You know, I was in the house, and then my children were already preparing for school. And then the school teacher called in, and then I said, Mr. Simeon, I said, please, they aren't going to go to school today, because it came late yesterday. The children came back, and they never knew where they were not going to go to school today. So that suddenly came. No. And then when they called, I said, so my son was like, Daddy, what's it? I said, it's public holiday. He said, what's happening? I said, the president-elect is coming to the state. He said, what's he coming to do? And then it's 8. He said, 8 years old. He said, what's he coming to do? I said, he's going to commission a project tomorrow. He said, but that today is not tomorrow. That's a little boy of about 8. I said, no, the fact that he's coming into town, we have to shut down. But you know what's funny? Tomorrow that is the commissioning, there is no public holiday. Tomorrow is the activity that the president, he can come in quietly. The president can come in today quietly and go into his presidential lodge. I don't know what is happening in Black Africa.
President-elect.
President-elect. He can come into this town quietly, go into his presidential lodge and remain. The activity is tomorrow. Then it is today that we'll shut down the economy in the entire state, then lock down the economy in some part of the city, and then it is tomorrow that is I don't know whether this evening they will announce tomorrow again too to be public holiday. So these are the issues that probably will make this decision that the governor has the right to declare a public holiday, but will make the talking points around these issues. Okay. And we have the right to analyze all of this. For me, it wasn't well thought through. The public holiday didn't seem to be quite justifiable. Then the compelling of persons to do one thing or not to do another didn't also seem to have been thought through thoroughly.
Okay, so there are 2 projects to be commissioned. So I was thinking, I was just going over this.
Okay, whether there's any commissioning today?
Yes.
Check the Magistrates Court building.
Yeah, that's for
very
tomorrow.
Wonderful, I must say.
That's for tomorrow.
It's also tomorrow.
Yes. During the visit, he is scheduled to commission the Rumola-Rumokuta flyover and the ultra-modern market complex in Port Harcourt today and the day after. So I think there is a commissioning today and the day after. Yes.
The flyover.
No, hold on. Even if there's a commissioning today, where is that commissioning? The ultra-modern market, which of the markets? Is it the My One market?
No, ultra-modern magistrates court complex.
That's today?
No, that's tomorrow.
That's tomorrow.
So apparently the flyover is today.
No, the flyover is tomorrow.
No, read again.
Okay.
Read again.
I think it's today.
Okay, accept that.
The flyover is today.
Oh,
and then,
okay.
Yeah. Let me read it again. Tinubu, during his visit, is scheduled to commission the Rumola-Rumokuta flyover
today.
And no, they didn't say today first. And the ultra-modern magistrates court complex in Port Harcourt today and tomorrow. So maybe the Rumola,
today and
tomorrow.
So you mean that respectively? We mean that. Respectively,
if that
language, you mean that the flyover should be for today, then the magistrate court for tomorrow. So if that's the situation, then the commissioning of the Rumola-Rumokuta flyover being around that axis,
that's
right, may well justify why they say, look, everybody stay away this area. That's the business you shut down.
Exactly.
But even at that, I maintain that a citizen of the Federal Republic of Nigeria is invited. Even this government, this is not the first time they've invited sitting governors. Can I tell you that even sitting governors have statutory and constitutional privileges in terms of protection more than an elected person? Until you take oath of office and oath of allegiance, you are not yet the president of the Federal Republic of Nigeria.
All right.
He cannot sign anything as president of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. He cannot write anything. He cannot represent Nigeria. He cannot take any position whatsoever. The Constitution emphasizes that if for any reason he's not going to be able to take that oath of allegiance and oath of office on the 29th of May, from today, if for any reason is unable to, he wouldn't have been reckoned as past former president of Nigeria.
All right, let's move on. Associate Professor, let's get to you on this one.
I have different...
No.
You wait first.
Yes, you definitely wait.
You see, I think that it's important for us to begin to realize the fact that, yes, you have power, and it's not in doubt. I don't think anybody is disputing the fact that the governor does not have the right to declare public. He has, going by the constitutional provision. But like as I was saying, it's one thing to have the power to do something. It's another thing to do it in accordance with the provisions of the law and with the spirit of the law. In law, jurisprudence, we have the letters and the spirit. So sometimes if you act only on the basis of the letters, you may not get the actual spirit of the law, which is the driving force that gave the drafters of the law that kind of impetus to do that. But let me also say that the governor has his calculations, he has his permutations. We may not be privileged to get the kind of information like Chimelen just said. It may be on security reasons why he has to do that, considering the fact that you know what is happening now, the agitations about the elections. He may have that. But I think that again that the declaration of public holiday, if it is not tied to security, for me it may not be all that proper, because this is a time when we just came back from a series of holidays, and people were just trying to settle down to do their work. All of a sudden,
another one
just go back again. And but be that as it may, there are still other people who are very happy. The workers in the ministries are very happy. In fact, how they wish that the whole of this month should be public holiday. Workers in the civil service are happy. They are very happy. How they wish that, hey, look, every day till the end of this month,
public holiday.
At the end of the month, just take your salary. And again, I listened to one analyst who was talking about production. Are we producing anything? We're not even producing anything. Except for the fact that these artisans who sell their wares and they depend on their daily earnings to, eke out a living. That's only. But are we a productive economy? And the answer is no. No, not justifying the essence of the holiday anyway, but we are not producing anything, so nobody should think that, okay, we are going to lose billions of dollars. We are consumers. We are consuming economy. But you see, I want to also say that it's quite instructive that I think as a political scientist, I'm going to carry out more research on this. That you have a political party at the center that won, okay, for now, election. And another political party at the state is happy receiving, in fact, went to the extent of declaring public holiday. Meanwhile, his own party in the state is almost dying. It's nowhere to be noticed.
Our governor has created a topic for research.
It's something that, look, I like I said, I need to carry it a very serious
note on
that. Yes, it appears it's a new dimension in Nigerian politics. And for all intents and purposes, I think it's something that after politics, after elections, there should be need for collaborative efforts.
Yeah.
We should transcend beyond party lines.
Crossbreed,
yes.
Crossbreed.
Ethnic lines. And that it also tells us, it's also very instructive to also say that, look, a house divided against itself can never stand.
Yeah.
I don't know what is happening to APC in Rivers State. It's something they need to learn, a very big lesson. And I want to believe that they've learned something out of this. That they are there in their state. Their man is coming to River State. It's the other party that is projecting, putting up declaring public holiday, and they are there. And I had the second.
No, the public holiday was not declared by the other party.
No, declared by the governor. Yes,
so
declared
the governor is a member of APC, a member of PDP, a member of all the other political parties.
I don't know that for now.
I'm not talking about membership as a governor. You are a governor.
He's a father. Yes. So yeah, he's a governor that declared the public holiday. And the governor is of PDP, whether I like it or not.
No, but now he's acting as father of the entire state.
Yes, acting, but he's under the aegis of PDP. So the point I'm making is that
Rivers PDP.
Yeah, okay, Rivers PDP. So the point I'm making is that it's something very instrumental, and a house divided against itself will never stand. APC Rivers State should begin to ask some fundamental questions, and they should learn their lesson. Why should a party like that be so? I mean, I don't know the word to describe it. It's a shameful thing that we have people who are grounded in politics who have participated for years. Yet APC is looking like this. We are expected to have, given the dictates and tenets of democracy, a functional and active opposition. Because what it means that in a democracy, you must have an active opposition. Organized opposition. Constructive, that can, reel out constructive criticisms. And if the party in power has the power to hear, they should be able to make ways and see how they can move the state forward. So I think I'm going to carry out a research on that.
Okay.
What is happening? And then profile a solution.
Okay.
The essence of research is that you need to profile solution to solve societal problems. And let APC in River State be able to learn from that.
All right.
Nigerian politics doesn't listen to solutions. So.
No, except
they come from.
Because if they don't listen to solution, they will be going the ways of APC in River State.
What did you want to add something? 1 minute.
Yes, Professor, wanna leave.
I think the APC in River State, they are doing well, and they are not having any problem. So I think let me collect the professor.
They won the presidential election at least.
Yes, that's what I'm saying. They've been together. Yes, and and we are not here to begin to offer solutions.
So, you don't want to provide solutions.
When they're having problems, okay, he wants to decide. For me, I would have just said, you shouldn't waste your time.
There is a problem.
You shouldn't waste your time.
If there's no problem, I'll rest my case.
I told you. You shouldn't waste your time. You wanted to say. When you came in and said you wanted to say something, Prof had not said this.
No, I said you shouldn't waste his ink. These are the things I want. You can use it for other things. For that of what has happened, right now, the president-elect, just to add on to maybe differ a little from my senior colleague, is that the president-elect, in as much as you have been declared as a president-elect, you have won an election, you now move into the defense house. You are now privy to most of the information, security informations. Your guard will be changed. I just want to take it on that. So many things will change. You are now having privileged information. your guard is like what I saw when he was moving to Lagos. The security I saw, those are federal securities. And somebody I equally heard from Ananaba is a son, is a senior advocate. Say, look, whatever the president is enjoying now, that's the president Buhari is enjoying now, Tinubu is but the only thing is that Tinubu cannot execute. The only thing is that they will inform him the rights and every other thing, he will enjoy it. So in terms of going out, they will guide him. Immediately the federal, as he's coming now, those federal police will follow him, join him down to River State. Then including the governor's own, all the security here will be lined up. While I was coming now, they've already started lining on the road. So it means that he's not on his own. He's now a federal and the people's president-elect. And whatever they are doing, they brief him. The security, most of the information classified, he has been briefed. I remember immediately he landed Nigeria. In fact, the kind of guard I saw. So let us not take away the fact that he's almost close to the doorstep. So let nobody feel
nearly. Can you kill a bird?
You can kill if you have a gun.
Nearly how?
If you have a gun. If I have a gun, that's one thing with my friend. Most of the adages in Nigeria has failed. So I don't even refer to most of them. If you're near and you have a gun, you kill it. You have to, you pieces it. So it's not something. He had a lot of information.
That you nearly killed,
not nearly. I will kill.
Okay. All right. Let's move on from this story.
You're so happy.
I mean,
I think you're with me.
What else will you do, my sister?
I'm shocked. All right, let's move on. Still staying with Wike though. Wike threatens to dethrone monarchs that allow criminality in their domains. Okay. Governor Yeson Wike of Rivers State has vowed to unseat traditional rulers whose domains elevate violence, cultism, and sundry criminality in the state. At yesterday's presentation of Instrument of Office 233, government recognized traditional rulers at Government House, Port Harcourt, Wike charged Rivers monarchs to ensure no child was out of school in their domains. The government recognition involved 4 third class, 27 second class, and 2 first class stools. He told the kings, and I quote, "Today I confer that you have all met and satisfied all the conditions precedent to be recognized or elevated by the River State government as traditional rulers with the residuary authority of the government to superintend over your respective domains. Your first responsibility is maintenance of peace and security. Peace is priceless. Safety is paramount. Investors or tourists will only come to places considered safe and secure. Progress can only take place in a stable environment. I advise, therefore, that you work with the local government chairman and the security agencies to maintain peace and security in your communities. Let me warn you that the government will not hesitate to dethrone any traditional ruler that allows, tolerates, or enables cult and criminal activities to take root in his domain. You should ensure no child is out of school in your communities, as education is vital to our children's progress. Work with government health officers to ensure your community's health centers are functional. We expect you to use your influence to advance and attract development to your communities. We have more than enough land to cultivate and feed our people. Encourage your subject and youths to be economically productive. Let your reign be remembered for the significant socio-economic improvements recorded in your communities. Furthermore, I urge you to stay away from partisan politics and be the father of all your subjects, irrespective of the political parties they belong to. Otherwise, you will attract disrespect to your throne and lose your people's universal respect. Okay. This is a threat coming to traditional rulers. I mean, if you don't fight cultism, criminality in your domain, you're going to be dethroned and all of those. I don't know if this is the best approach to deal with the issue of criminality. And of course, looking at the role of traditional rulers in the different communities. We have some communities, bedeviled by cult clashes, criminality is taking place there. And it brings to bear, or it brings to mind what these traditional rulers are, up to in their various domains. Emmanuel Ndukwe.
Well, Faustina, I think the governor is right.
In threatening them with dethronement.
Yes. With dethronement, that these leaders, these traditional leaders could sit up. You know, politicians have spoiled everything in this country. When traditional institution was traditional institution, you see that those born by heritage occupies traditional stools. Things were going well. But right now, I heard you read that they should not participate in politics.
Yeah.
And I am saying no. They're already politicians. They are politicians A to Z. All of them that are appointed now. See, loyalty is the condiment that drives participation in Nigerian politics, Nigerian brand of politics. If any traditional ruler appointed by Governor Wike, who belongs to Rivers PDP, does not comply and be loyal, I say 100% with the administration of Governor Wike, he will be dethroned. Have you heard me? And so, how can they, for instance, leave PDP support for APC? That means you, as soon as you are standing up from your seat, you won't sit there again. For me, all the way politicians have made this country is such that any of them, that includes the party that particular authority resides, that is the one.
But does that stop the traditional rulers from fighting crimes in their domains?
See, he is right in telling them to maybe fight crimes. This is just like when federal government said that there will be a whistleblowing policy. He is making the traditional rulers to be whistleblowers because remember, they don't have the instruments to fight criminality. But they could liaise with government. Send the emissaries to government and say, look at what is holding here. We've tried, or we've seen a cluster of people. We've talked to them. And they are armed to the teeth. We can't deal with them. Once government hears such, they will send the operatives to cow these particular criminals. So you can now see where they can function well along that line. So he's very right to say, if you allow criminality fester in your own area, you will be dethroned. Once you tell them that, they can work. At least at that level of whistleblowers, they can work. That's as far as they can go. Because when people come, barricade a place with guns, firing, there's nothing traditional ruler could do. But if he had liaised with government, government will say that it will be fire for fire. And government certainly must overwhelm. Because I have said anybody that is growing up to be more powerful than government, it's just that government allows them.
Okay.
So, I think, but the angle I do not agree, for Sena, from now till any year, is that the traditional rulers appointed are not politicians. They are. They can't disagree with the governor now. They can't disagree with any PDP official that is a stalwart. They can't.
Okay. All right. Henry Kini, let's hear you.
Yeah, Fosina, thank you. The traditional institution in Nigeria today has actually become one that we toss them, unfortunately, from one end to another, from one point to another. But I recall in political developments of this country, Doc will confirm that to me, that we have had the House of Chiefs as if it was the legislative arm. And that wasn't different from the same chiefs we are talking about, except that they are significantly different from the quality or character of those chiefs anyway. But that's also what it meant. At that time, it meant that there was a deliberate inclusion of the traditional institution into governance, right? And that's why I remember it's in this studio we were discussing the issue of giving constitutional or statutory responsibilities clearly to the traditional institution, particularly even in the constitution. At that level. So if you look at all of the points you've read out that the governor had admonished, I wouldn't say really one, because if it's one, then I see it as an apparent disrespect and disregard of the traditional institution, who are the fathers of our society. We are still very traditional in Africa, in this country. So he admonished them, I would say more appropriately, in these areas. And if you look at all of these areas, these are areas of governance and government functions that have to be drawn from some statutory provisions or constitutional provisions empowering the that institution to probably have roles to play in security, have roles to play in policy making and implementation, of course, execution in respect to healthcare, education, and even development. Because if you look at all of these, like the man has said, it probably would just be to play a role of drawing the attention of government, but not being held answerable. You cannot hold the traditional ruler in my village answerable that there is no education in my village.
Now, before you go on, sorry, let me warn you that the government will hesitate.
I'm not saying
so
that was what is
there.
written by the media.
Okay.
But, or even if he said so, actually, I mean, he actually used that word.
It's a position they're probably quoting the government.
He would have said so. I know him. But it would have been more appropriate, I mean, to say, I admonish you, I urge you.
Okay.
Right? But to say that I warn you, if you don't do this, but that's a thing of language. But the point I'm actually trying to emphasize here is the governor had said to these traditional rulers that, look, the health facilitators in your areas are functional. How? Do they have any responsibility, any budgetary provision for them to make sure that the health center in their areas are functional? Or is it that you're telling them that they'll not draw the attention of the commissioner for health to say
you
the
work
health
with
center
their
in my
local
place not
government
functional?
chairman.
Okay.
Yeah.
So that, but beyond that, then you can't hold such person answerable or accountable if the health facility in his place is not functional. You can't dethrone him because the health facility in his place is not functional. Because he has no responsibility anywhere that draws a sanction. So let's say the Royal Majesty of the Engene area draws the attention of the chairman of Ahoda West local government that all the health centers from Mbiama down to Ogbogulo are non-functional. That's all he's done. And that man, an erudite Royal Majesty, yes, and of course even from the health sector, and identifies this and draws the attention. If the local government chairman feels that that's not his priority, and then in terms of how he'll expend the allocation that comes to the local government, how would you dethrone that Royal Majesty?
I think dethronement
that's one.
warning is coming to in the area of criminality.
No, but I mentioned all of these areas. I'll go to criminality. Even the criminality.
Okay.
Do they have any responsibility in terms of security, really? They do not. At best, again, at most, it's just like someone talked about the whistleblowing name again. He only tell the local government chairman that, okay, the community of Udoda, which is the community in Ahoda West local government, and then in the kingdom of the Royal Majesty in the Engene area. And he says, this community security people are there. I mean, so there are some criminality and all. That's all he does. And then the local government chairman, which, of course, is the level of government, and an executive chairman in that regard, and the governor himself, they are the ones that the people of Udoda, and then the people of Engene, and then the people of Ahoda West should hold responsible that there is no security. If there is anybody to remove, it's the local government chairman. If there is any person to recall, it should be the governor. For failure to provide security in that community, you can't dethrone a local government chairman if there is insecurity in his local government.
A traditional ruler.
A traditional ruler. Except that he recalls. If I take the next one, he said, traditional rulers ensure that schools, that there is no child. That should be a deliberate policy of government. The Commissioner of Education should enforce that as policy of government. That there should be no child in my entire... It's a happy one, though.
Yeah.
But the misplacement of that responsibility is what I'm analyzing here. How is it, as Nigeria is operated today, even his intention, then the intentions of the governor, excellent. And that's been what I've been advocating. That we should give these traditional institutions such responsibilities. We can actually say, okay, primary education should be within the purview of the traditional institution in terms of making sure that they are there. And so you make budgetary allocation available for them to make sure that the schools are functional. So if the traditional ruler in my area identifies that, children in the community are not going to school because the schools are not working, does he have any budgetary provision for him to make sure that his schools work? It doesn't. So can you also sanction him that in his local government or in the domain that children are not going to school? So it's a good one that he has admonished. But beyond this, he should take these points and consider to advance, even as I'm seeing clearly, and I pray that my governor, after handing over on May 29th, should get to a very pivotal position in the administration of Ahmed Tinubu. Right? With all this support, he has said it the other time, that he cannot give you support if you do not have something in turn for the state, of course, for him too. So I expect and I pray and I wish that she get to a very controlling position in this administration, so that with this kind of vision that he has, the traditional institution in the coming administration should be given responsibility that will be able to answer to these questions he has raised.
Okay, we'll go on the news break. When I come back, yes. I will take your...
I have several cough to cough.
Yeah, okay, you can go and cough outside and come back. All right, stick around.
To copy this tune, press 9.
This is Today 95.1 FM.
For current news and information, press 5.
They are politicians, all of them. They know what they do.
So they know how they attack each other.
To stay connected all day, press 1.
The person who raised the alarm is the one who made the public know about it.
Good afternoon and welcome to the World News on your premium talk radio station.
We are your premium talk radio station. Today 95.1 FM. The station with a unique dial.
Every day, every hour, when the big stories break, depend on our 24-hour news team to bring you the latest. Today, 95.1 FM.
Today 95.1 FM. Port Harcourt. News update.
Hello and good morning. Here's the news update on Today 95.1 FM Port Harcourt. I am Faustina Oputu. President Muhammadu Buhari will join other world leaders for the coronation of Charles III and his wife Camilla as His Majesty the King and Her Majesty the Queen Consort of the United Kingdom, respectively. Presidential spokesman Femi Adesina made this known in a statement. Adesina said the president will depart for London, United Kingdom today for the coronation slated for Saturday, May 6. The president will be accompanied by the Secretary to the Government of the Federation, Boss Mustafa, the Minister of Foreign Affairs, Jeffrey Oyema, the Minister of Information and Culture, Lai Mohammed, amongst other senior government officials. The Economic Community of West African States Parliament has appealed to the government of the United Kingdom for leniency in the sentencing of former Deputy Senate President Ike Ekweremadu and his wife Beatrice on Friday, May 5. On March 23, the Ekweremadus and their Dr. Obian Obeta were convicted of organ trafficking by the Old Bailey Court in the UK. In a letter addressed to the Chief Clerk of the Central Criminal Court, Old Bailey, London, the Speaker of the ECOWAS Parliament, Right Honourable CDA Mohamed Tunis, appealed to the court to temper justice with mercy. Listing several of the achievements of the embattled former Deputy Speaker in the ECOWAS Parliament, Tunis decried his long absence since June 2022, saying it would be dreadful if he faces a long prison sentence. The Abia State House of Assembly has dismissed the purported impeachment of its Speaker, Chinedum Oji, by some members of the House led by its former Deputy Speaker, Ifeanyi Uchendu. This was made public during a preliminary session of the House presided by Oji. A video which has now gone viral on social media emerged yesterday morning, where some members of the House sat in an undisclosed location, reportedly impeached the Speaker and elected Chukwudi Apugo as the new Speaker. But a member of the House, Jerry Uzo CK, during the preliminary plenary, described the move as unconstitutional, disgraceful, and against the rules of the legislature. And on the foreign scene, Myanmar's junta pardoned more than 2,000 political prisoners to mark a Buddhist holiday today. The military has arrested thousands of protesters and activists since the February 2021 purge that ended Myanmar's brief democratic experiment and plunged the country into turmoil. The junta said in a statement that pardons were granted to the prisoners serving sentences under Penal Code 505A, which carries a maximum 3-year jail term, to mark Kason Full Moon Day, a festival marking the birth of Abuja. The military said it ordered the pardons for what it says is the peaceful mind of the people and on humanitarian grounds, but warned that those who re-offend will have to serve the remainder of their sentence with an additional penalty. And that was the news update on Today 95.1 FM, Port Harcourt. Good morning. Thanks for listening. I'm Faustina Oputu.
Today's news, today's entertainment, today's sports, today's issues. Today on Today 95.1 FM, Port Harcourt.
Do you have a good but inactive car? Are you someone interested in cab-hailing business but have troubles with drivers and vehicle management? Or just maybe you're at work and your car is free? Then YG Services Fleet is just what you need to make more money with your car with zero stress. YG Services specializes in vehicle management, security and maintenance, so you can be rest assured that your cars are safe and in the best condition. And that's not all. You can also join our bike fleet and increase your income monthly. Want to know more? Please call us on 0913-060-2237, 0913-060-2237, or you can send us a DM at YG Services Fleet on Facebook, Instagram, or Twitter. YG Services Fleet, fleet management that delivers.
Don't worry you.
We're passionate about it.
We love talking.
We are.
Your number one talk radio station, 95.1 FM. 95.1 FM, voice of the people.
And we're back.
5 minutes past 10 a.m. Welcome back to today's Quest and Today 95.1 FM. Before we move on with the headlines, let me take some comments on Facebook. Okwando Obina says, Wike threatens to dethrone monarchs that allow criminality in their domains. This is a good call from the governor, but I think that the governor should start from his house to cleanse the state of every form of criminality. During the last general election, we saw how state-sponsored thugs harassed, bullied and killed many people just to snatch ballot boxes and result sheets. As a matter of fact, rumors has it, it can be matter of fact and then rumors, really. Okay, you don't belong to a particular association, River State, nothing for you. Okay, so let's move on from the rumor and matter of fact joined together. Good morning, everyone in the studio, especially Chief Ogaima and Uncle Chimenim Mekao. Ceylon Tinubu visit to River State today is a welcome development to us, and it's opportunity for Rivers people to tell him what we want as a state. On Governor Wike declaring public holiday is a welcome development because there is a saying that says, give honor to whom honor is due to. Okay, all right. Okay, you say you want to talk to Chimenim. It's all right. Samuel Ihonda, all right, thank you. Amity Prince, Umahi meets Buhari, says that Southeast deserves Senate presidency. Is it Buhari that will appoint the Senate president or the Senate members that will appoint their president? Maybe a lot of politicians do not know that Buhari's tenure will end soon. How would they not know? Okay, I think I read this earlier. Ebere Up Jesus, good morning to you all. Let the truth be told. Closing of business and declaring of public holiday today will make common people to suffer most. Some daily traders will lose goods today. God help us. Everest Wachuku, no regret declaring Benani winner. REC. Adamawa REC declared Benani winner against INEC guidelines. Same way. INEC chairman Yakubu declared Tinubu winner without properly cross-checking before announcing the results. Wow, and you're sure about that? Ewere Medrino says Tinubu's victory legal battle begins Monday. I just hope and pray that they will speak. Okay, I think I took that one earlier. Dave Pavcha says Tinubu's visit, Wike declares today public holiday in Rivers. President Buhari was visiting Yobe State. A 2-day public holiday was declared, and your guest in the studio vehemently criticized the action, saying Yobe is not a productive state. Oh, they criticized it then? He gave an example that a state like Rivers will never do such nonsense. In his words, whom are you referring to? He went on and on about how Yobe has been a serious state, would have taken into cognizance what it will lose economically during the holiday. I'm waiting to hear what he will say today. This is not a president, it's just a president-elect. Okay. I wonder which of the guests you're talking about. Amity Prince. Okay, I took this one also, so I'm going to just move on. Good morning, all. Buhari telling us this morning that he had delivered on the promise he made to Nigerians. I don't think so, if you ask me. Is he talking about hunger or unemployment and insecurity ravaging Nigeria? We have now Chijoke from Port Harcourt. Okay, thank you. This one I'm going to skip it. The words I'm saying right there, they'll probably come from my head if I read it out loud. Okay, I don't know why some people are tearing their clothes for a 1-day public holiday declared by the River State government. Okay, all right. The visit of President-elect Bola Tinubu to River State will be a historic event because this will be the first visit President-elect will visit a state after INEC had declared him the winner of the just concluded presidential elections. You are highly welcome to the treasure base of the nation. Okay. All right. I did say that when I come back from the break, on the issue of the governor, charging traditional rulers to fight criminality and other things in their domains, or they are going to be dethroned. Chimene Modi, welcome back.
Well,
are you ready to cough now?
Thank you. Thank you very much. I want to re-emphasize, presidents are there to speak. What the governor has said, first of all, let me commend him. There is no state that is not without traditional rulers. We have the Traditional Rulers Council. From 1914, before the Lord Lugard came before the amalgamation of 1914, Nigeria have been existing. And when you look at the history of the Nigerian Royal Company, you will see, of course, if not that we sold it to the British, you will see that the Eastern Bloc has been organized. And we saw the indirect rule system. They were ruled by the warrant chiefs. So it means that from time immemorial, in 1923, we saw that even one of the headache that Clifford had before the introduction of the Tafa Balewa and the Herbert Macaulay of introduction of the Legislative Council, those that were there, even those that were not speaking English, were chiefs. But they were still interpreting to them. So it means that we have had organized traditional ruler system in the traditional way before it now transmogrified into what we have today. I remember one of the stories by Omar Ganduje before the Kwankwasaya. I was in Kano, Bagauda Nigerian Law School, privileged to look at the Dabo dynasty. The Dabo dynasty started in 1819 in Kano. It was actually, Kano was ruled by a few emirates. Omar Ganduje came up and divided it into 5 emirates. The Bichi, Goya, Gara, and all the rest, emirates. This was created under Ganduje. When once the Dabo dynasty was decentralized, problem came out. We had other dynasty that came in. The Sanusi, the father came in, Sanusi now came in. Because of politics, Sanusi was dethroned. This thing didn't happen outside. You see, this used to be ancestral thing. But before politics came up, and before in those days when they say they want to libate, of course you'll be afraid. For the simple fact that a chief is even standing up. We're not talking of Royal Highness, who is in the cabinet, wants to offer holder. Who are you? For the fact that your name has been reported for one sundry crime, you will start pleading because they will libate, they will do other things. But now it has moved from analog system. What we are running now is a digital system where government pays them. There is indemnity for these people. So government is controlling them. Whether you like it or not here, only here in Rivers State. And because look at how the chief of the staff of office is given to them. It's government staff of office. Yes. And when it is given by government, who detects? It is the government that will detect. And that was actually
no longer offer.
No, it's no longer offer again. What we have today is staff of government, and it is incumbent on you that they will direct you on what to do.
Yes.
You have to secure because they collect salary on daily basis, and that was how immediately the Dabo dynasty fell in 1819. They ruled for almost 100 years. Omar Ganduje, who understood, because then if right now in Kanu, after the government, what you are looking is traditional ruler. They believe in their. That is why each time you hear caliphate, Sokoto caliphate, of course they will have to decide. The caliphate is so big. When Osman Dan Fodio came up, they were the people that found the caliphate, and it sprang down everywhere to the north. But that of Kanu dynasty, you saw what Dan played. Omar Ganduje came and broke it. Dethroned Sanusi, took him to exile, and we are praying today that the new government under Konkwasaya will do something under the movement of NNPC, will do something. And today Ganduje had to split the dynasty in Kanu. So today they have created 5 emirates. What I'm saying is that what the governor is doing is not a new thing. It's not apostasy. Because they have given you the staff of office from government house, not of 4. The of 4 has been replaced. And secondly, most of these traditional rulers have been immersed with local politics. Some of them are bourgeois. They have turned to overlords. They control these boys. Most of the oil money bunkering that is going on, some of them are bunkers. Yes. So the governor is well affirmed and informed and notified. He has observed that these are what they are doing. Go to most villages today. The chiefs are not doing anything. They control most of these outlaws. Yes. So what do you expect from the governor? Yes. There are conventions that allow the governor. Hence he has given you the oath of office, not of 4. He has to control you. And some of them are collecting salary close to 6-7 million naira. So what do you expect if I pay you monthly? I'm from a place and I know where my monarch is from. I know where he collects his salary. I challenge any of them. Right. So if the governor gives you stuff, yesterday he was giving them something that looks like a rod, a staff. The same thing that the bishop of Anglican and all the popes you see, the pontiff, all those iron. I don't want to call it because I'm now doing misreligion. So if all those things are given to you by governor, what do you expect? He pays you. You have to surround his own this thing because once there is an insecurity, it dives down to the local government. The local government will call him in turn that Luko is coming out from somewhere. When something happens somewhere at Emo axis, I don't want to call the police. Was it not the chief that they had to call? Before you know, they had to recollect what they were looking for. The soldiers were looking for. So most of these chiefs know these outlaws within the community. The opinion leaders, it has become a cabal. So what the governor does is that he will not give the security to them. Hand them over to them. Look, I have given you oath of office. I have given you. After all, they have monthly meeting. The chiefs and the all the chiefs and the royal highnesses, they go to government house. In Nigeria, they visit government house on daily basis with their all the regulars in the world.
And their Usman
So who gives them?
Shaking their heads in the
couch. If I pay you in this studio, you expect me not to detect for you. I'll take over my salary. I'll take my salary.
Yeah.
Then you have to go to your house. He pays them. He takes care of their PAs and SAs. Today, in those days, you don't have SAs and PAs. What they have are the assistants of
other level chiefs.
Other level warrant chiefs. Yes. Whose duty is to ensure that they libate and see if the gods have accepted their libation. These days, I don't know if we have snap. These days, what we hear is snap. What these people are drinking is 201.
And Campari. Chelsea.
And you can't even use that one to libate. If you libate some of the gods,
the guys will get drunk.
You make the gods to be aggressive. So these are guys eating jollof rice. In those days, you don't see such things. Fried rice from Kilimanjaro. So you expect the governor to just sit and be looking at them. Then why you move with your chief of staff of office like that of Moses?
With your SUV.
So, and they are, see,
brand new SUV.
I was opportune in the 80s and 90s to see offer holders. Okay. The mere fact that you're seeing them from a distance, something will tell you that there are gods
following
moving
them
with these people. They don't even put on clothes.
So the gods have departed now.
No, what we have is digital gods. And what at this point they receive remuneration from government and they are paid heavily. Some of them, if they don't receive, you see them crying, their face will just turn. Governor pays them. So I say so. So when you are paid
at the rate of 4 to 6, 7 million naira. And other incentives that come. Even the local government pays them, traditional rulers.
So you use the money to fight crime in your domain?
Use it to fight crime. Because, look, crime has moved from the system that we used to know before. The former president, first president of Cameroon, Ahidjo Adao, he said when he came into power in 1952 to 1982, when he gave to Paul Biya, he is from northern Cameroon, while Paul Biya is from southern Cameroon. He was to reconcile because Cameroon was the colony of Germany and Britain. So for them to run to reconcile the both sides, Ahidjo was so brilliant. Immediately he came in, he used the local people, the CPN, and said, look, please be with me, fight with me, and ensure that we dethrone the militias that are around us. If he had not done so, it would have been difficult to have a unitary system in Cameroon. And he was able to conquer. Even though Paul Biya, who is a Christian, betrayed him. He called him and made him his prime minister and took him close. But Paul Biya, the same person, sentenced him in absentia for life. What are we saying? If not for the local militias, today we will not have what we have, the unity today, from Ambazonia to where we have today, where he's from. The Cameroon, northern Cameroon. So you make use of the militias. And today, for you to identify these militias, they are in the localities. The chiefs know them. The opinion leaders know them. And that is why the police can't do anything without referring to the CDC. Say, where is the chairman of the community? That is what is running now. We have gone, that is why we are looking for community police. It is difficult to bring a man from Zamfara and say, come and investigate my community. Do you know the roads? So the governor has charged them, because some of them are outlaws. Go and look at the credentials. Go to River State Prison. Go to most prisons today in Nigeria. Most Royal Highnesses are there. Some of them are oil moguls. Some of them are doing all sort of businesses that are out of the context of within the that are within the context of what is expected of them. And the governor knows. He has all the information. So if I'm giving you an oath of staff and all that pertains to that thing, and I pay you on top, what do you expect? You have to keep your community, ensure that there is security. After all, the Royal Highnesses appoint the CDC chairman. They appoint opinion leaders. They appoint the youth president. It was a function of the CDC before. But the constitution now has changed that before you become a president of a community, a youth president, the Royal Highness must append.
Okay.
It is not within the prerogative of the CDC again. In those days, it was the CDC chairman that does it. He conduct. But right now, the Royal Highness must look at your face and see if you can work with him in tandem to commit the same crime. Because there are a lot of things coming out. There are a lot of proceeds. There is no community that have no benefit. Companies are coming in. Because if you get somebody that is a CDC chairman that is not within understanding of the organogram where they steal from, it becomes difficult. So they must look at your face and look at your precedent and know if you can compromise. That is what is going on. We must understand the fact that today the governor is shouting that he shouldn't compromise. Go and look at the Bonkri organogram. The Royal Highnesses, their names are there. So many of them. I'm not dead. I work freely. I've told you I started doing boxing these days. Each time I talk, I know people are waiting. So these people there is an organized crime going on. So if the governor say I charge you, he has been dethroning. What did Omar Ganduje do to Sanusi? He dethroned him. Let it not look as if the governor is the first person saying it. He has to dethrone them. It's a caveat so that you don't move beyond the red lines.
Okay. All right, Associate
For me,
Professor.
he's right now because they are politicians.
Faustina, I think it's very instructive at this point in time to also lay political history background to this. Recall that prior to the advent of the colonial masters, Nigeria is made up of heterogeneous ethnic groups, and they had their own traditional regime systems. These were distinct people who were actually ruling and managing their affairs until the colonial masters came, and that was the offshoot of the vituperations in the European economy, where European businessmen felt that, well, we need to move out of this enclave and then look out for other virgin areas where we can do our businesses and protect our economic interests. Look for cheap labor, market, and cheap raw materials. These were the driving force that made them to carry out those kind of dangerous voyages which they claim they discovered Africa and the other parts of the world. Be that as it may. We also saw how their colonial policies also brought in some of those, these traditional leaders to be part of that imperialistic manipulation. Because as at that time, these chiefs and emirs were mere instruments in the hands of the colonial masters, and they were doing their biddings. They were not really in charge. And so what happened was that they jettisoned the normal traditional regime system, and then they now were used as an instrument by the colonial masters. I want us to understand the differences and the impact this thing is still creating. It's still having impact even up to now. And when you look at it from that period up to the different phases, if you go to the annals of the evolution of local government in Nigeria, you really understand the stages. At a point, of course, the chiefs were part of it. And later, we brought in elected councillors who probably had modicum of education. And they were able to edge out the chiefs. So that up to now, by the 1976 local government reforms, the constitution did not even recognize the traditional rulers. Did not. And as we speak, it has not recognized them. But I tell you one thing, something is happening. And I want to reveal that. And it appears we are also going back to the old colonial area. Because if you look at the political history of Nigeria, the post-colonial state seem not to be different from the colonial state. And these are some of the manifestations. Now, you have a local government. The constitution recognizes the local government as a authority of government. And by that, the local chief were not included at all. They have been abandoned. Maybe to go and pour libation and do all those incantation sacrifices, like in my place during New Year Festival. One elderly man and all those people that wear red cap will come and do libation, they kill goat and strangle. These are the things they were left to do in the true sense of the traditional rulership. But again, you also find out that, some of these communities, by their political permutations and calculus, had an arrangement where each village or family is being represented by a chief. Maybe by way of trying to administer the entire community. You say, okay, this village, this community, bring one chief. One man who will be representing your interest in the overall, call it Sahindrin of the community, where they need to brainstorm how the community can move forward. So you started having chiefs. And these chiefs, their functions are more political than those other red cap chiefs. We call them holders. Even in my community, they are still there. They don't know what government is talking about. They don't know who is wicked. I'm sure nobody has even talked to them to say welcome. But government seems to be relying on these other political chiefs. And again, the problem is that most of these chiefs are not true representatives of the people. The government is catching on the fact that there is a season in the community, and they just take one. In fact, they're operating on divide and rule, which the multinational corporation is using to unleash mayhem on us. That's exactly what is happening. Besides that, I don't want to disagree with the governor. I mean, if you are calling for peace, somebody is an instrument of peace. You want the development of the communities. Why not? I say, Professor Manuel, I will support you in total. You are coming in for. It would have been rather surprised when the governor will say, okay, go there, ensure that you disorganize the community. He wouldn't say that.
Criminality reigns.
And let the criminality reign in them. He wouldn't. Who would expect that the governor would say that? He would not. And so, in as much as he couldn't say that, and he would not say that, I align with him to that extent. I mean, if you are the governor of the state, all you need to know, all you need to do is to ensure that peace reigns in your communities under your watch. And he's trying to use the instrument. But my worry, and I must emphasize, he said he's going to dethrone most of the chiefs. Some of them, like Chibelem also said, have abandoned the war. And they're now using staff office. And that's the problem. But again, you see, in fact, that some of the communities, before you become the traditional ruler, there are traditional rights you must pass through. It's not anybody's making. This one is just political correlations. Adding that to the traditional powers you have already. There are some communities you need to, Python must appear in your compound. Yes. And they need to do some incantation. Say, okay, it is this man. Yes. It still exists. And I don't think the governor will have the power to say, because he didn't maintain peace. And so I'm removing you and dethroning you and bring another person. That's a way of bringing anarchy and confusion in the community he wanted to protect. So the point is that there is this kind of division. There is segregation. Those who are appointed, most of them are not the true representative of the people. Go and ask most of the communities where they have given this second class chief. Most of the community members don't align with them. they are not their representative.
Python did not appear today.
Yes, they are not. I know of a community, but I will not mention name. Most people are not in support of the man who has been given second-class chief by the government. And so how do you expect that kind of person to carry along or to protect the yearnings and aspirations of such community? You know, it's like uneasy camp. It's like uneasy camp. It's like a time bomb ready to explode anytime, any moment. So that much cherished peace is elusive in such communities. And so, but I think that it is important and instructive. Okay, come to think of it. The governor has just about 26 days to leave office. If I am one of those appointed as a governor, I will maintain now and let the governor leave first. After 29th of May, he's no longer the governor. Or is the governor still saying that after 29, I'm still in charge? The new governor may decide to take a different
approach.
Yes, if he's really independent-minded. If he's really.
It's all right.
But want to believe he is. Want to believe he is. So if he is, he might decide to take a different perspective, different dimension.
After all,
different from this present governor's
governor.
own. So is the governor saying that after 29, look, I will still dethrone you?
No,
He will not have that.
There's a consolidation move.
It's all right.
To consolidate all of the actions and behaviors and legacies.
I think I'm
leave that consolidation thing for now.
But that's what it should be. Now, government is a continuum.
No, government is a continuum, but there could be changes in policy trust.
Oh, yes,
that's what I mean.
Round off your.
Yeah, so the point I'm making is that it's good he has made that statement, but my worry that he has challenges. First, he doesn't have the time to do that. Second, there is imbued schism in some of these communities. Most of these chiefs are not true representatives of the people. Again, there is a division between traditional rulers. From where I come from, we still have the Ofo holders. I mean, the Owo holders. Those red cap chiefs. Very elderly men. If they pour libation for you now, you will not escape it. They are there, different from the other political chiefs.
That's if you go wrong.
And again, I mean, just like Ekene also pointed out, how will you charge a community chief to bring about agriculture? I mean, ensure that we have arable land, especially in this era of land tenure system and the use of fructuary, where the land belongs to the community. After the farming season, it goes back. I mean, they portion the land to individual. After the farming season, it goes back to the community. And then with the issue of this artisanal refining, if you go to my community, most of the farmlands are damaged. And again, we talk about leadership example. His Excellency established a cassava farm in Oyibo or somewhere along there. Right. So what is happening to that? Leadership by example. So I think that is if you will give somebody a responsibility, equip that person.
Okay.
Do they have the financial resources to build these health centers? Most of the communities don't have even any. They don't have functional primary school in some communities. So if you want them to do that, let there be a separate budget allocation to them for them to do that.
They've got to work with the local government chairman.
Oh, okay.
You want to add something quickly?
You see, the issue of holders. I have told you, these other people that are by appointment, they are political chiefs.
Exactly.
See, when we are talking about real traditional rulers, as far as I've been growing from my village and I know them, there is no governor, there is no president that will come and say, no, we are taking over this place. If the chief, real traditional ruler comes out, even if he's going to come out naked or whatever, do whatever, the president will find himself in trouble. Exactly. For instance, even today, as this division is occurring, you cannot, because you are a governor, go to the Oba Bini. I think it's Oba. Good.
Even the Oba of Oba.
Good. All such people. And then say, no, he's the king of Bini. I'm the throne who now? Did you appoint the person?
In the first instance.
Now, if you try that in Oba Bini, whatever happens to you, you take it. So I am telling you that the people that you see appointed in that group, the governor has a right to threaten them. And as far as all these assignments he has pronounced, they are going to the extent of being whistleblowers. There's no other thing they can do.
He who has the power to hire also has the power to hire.
And then look at Fosina. Even if it's 10 million, is it what you use and wage war when there are people that are having sophisticated arms? How much are you going to? So they will liaise with government and say, look at these people have come, and then government will move in.
So that's much
all.
they can do at the moment.
That's about it.
Informants.
Simple. Another angle to that is that you see, government is being these things that they are like eyes to the government.
Yeah.
But what they do, they have a dual function.
Exactly.
Now, to that traditional function is that they supervise, they tend to superintend and suppress any eyes that want to rise. They give information to, not only to generally what we see. That was why I cited the case of Kanu and all the rest. Now, they equally, another function is that they ensure that they give information to overlords, non-state actors, anybody that want to come and suppress the government of the day or the governor, they will give an information. So you must be, and for you to act in that political capacity, having given that oath of office, you must not be insubordinate. Because once there is an insubordination, then it means that you're not qualified. You will be dethroned. That was what happened to Sanusi.
Okay.
So in all of this, let us not blame the governor.
No, we're not.
Nobody's blaming. No, I'm just. This is my own opinion. Council.
Opinions should not even because nobody's blaming him. He appointed them.
He wouldn't have said otherwise.
Concerning the processing, the cassava and all the rest, we have right of occupancy. The right of occupancy is the land that you own, indigenous land. They belong, if you're writing a deed of conveyance now. Of course, apart from what the Land Use Act brought, is an evil. The Land Use Act is an evil. I think 1979 Land Use Act.
Yes.
And I think in the wisdom of those that have looked at it, my Professor Simini, will say, look, that was the worst thing that was allowed to come in. But then when you look at, these lands are traditional lands. Most lands are owned by the Obas and the chief. So if the governor come in that way to say, look, allot land, like this is farming, we're into the farming season now. Yeah. Most of this land are allotted to individuals by the highness. Say, look, go to so place, take 26 hectares, take 26 plots. So if the governor in his wisdom, that's why I say, look, they have information at their tips. Most of this land are held hostage by these traditional rulers, or call them political rulers, or under the guise of traditional rulers. And you cannot, there are lands that they will tell you, look at the caveat emptor. It's not that it's coming from court. Caveat from traditional rulers. You can't evade such land. And they are being held hostage. Follow. So if the governor comes through that way, it's a very, very good, important information. Because for you to even farm in a land, in most areas, you need the consent of a traditional ruler. So you see them, what they do, they sell. They allot. Like now, they are allotting in several places. I'm from Ikwere. They are allotting now to strangers. So if the governor come in that form, some people don't want to farm again. So concerning the cassava processing this thing, I think the governor has done very well. You see, we are not here to talk. Most of us are not farmers. Okay. I don't think anybody has touched farm implement here. I think the least person I saw here was with 6 biros. So it means that what we do here is writing.
6 biros.
No, I saw somebody is having 6 in his chest. I don't know if he has turned to. So for those of us that have a dual, so we are visiting farm always.
Okay,
the processing this thing is working.
All right, let's move on. Let's move on. Yeah, let's believe it's working. Let's move on.
You're a researcher.
Before I take on the opinion poll segment, let me read some messages here.
Find out.
Please, people should advise the state governor, River State, did he feed the people or pay them? Even at Lagos State, this won't be displayed. Marks it. Okay. All right. Thank you very much, Marks it. Good morning, Faustina and the guests in the studio. On weekends, holiday Wahala, Tinubu won the elections in River State by a mile and yet not popular. How ironical. How many places does we go to without these? Oh, okay. It's just a pity that someone who come. Okay. Now, I did say when you are sending in your message, do well to reference a particular headline that you're reacting to. Okay? There is no part of the world where a governor deprives its citizenry of going about their day-to-day business because the president-elect is visiting a state. It has never happened in any district, state, or province in U.S., Canada, and UK. A Talbot from Elelewa.
Nigeria is not U.S.
Govo is not trying a big. Ghost time out of from Elebe. Okay. This one here says, I'm not Wike's fan, but I commend him for his political Maradona by... I mean, this is not reacting to a particular headline. I mean, you talk about the headline and you give your take on the headline, okay? Let me go to the SMS portal first. Good morning, Faustina. About constituency projects, yes, you see. Majority of the analysts in the studio are saying the truth without being partisan, except one man who has vowed to remain partisan in every topic. I am Daddy Chris Iwundu from Oibo.
It's a partisan name.
On constituency project, Warner has not told us its impact on his constituency. Okay, Jerry from Alu. Okay, are you talking about Professor Warner, Associate Professor Warner? He said on constituency projects, you've not told us its impact on his constituency.
Okay, I want to tell him now.
Okay, tell him.
There is no impact.
All right.
We have not seen anyone at all.
Okay, you've heard it.
Mm-hmm. And people have the right to request to, just as we did.
Okay. And this one here says, good morning, Tori from... Okay, Tinubu's visit to River State declare public holiday. Tinubu should first go commission on opening border before flyover in River State. Well, I'm just trying to... I don't know what you're trying to say there. Melody from Uniport, declaration of public holiday because of Tinubu is eye service taken so far by Wiki. Even Tinubu himself and his family didn't celebrate him like this. This kind of overzealousness and overdue is why he plays when things didn't finally go his way. Should stop expecting too much from political friends so that he won't be heartbroken when expectations are not met. If not, please correct my name. Public holiday is in the concurrent list, not exclusive list.
It's an exclusive.
Okay, you go check out for yourself again. Even legal novice know that.
It's an exclusive list.
It's an exclusive list.
Exclusive list. Yes, both yes, yes.
It's exclusive.
You know, these are people that are always trying to...
But power is vested.
Yes.
And like I said, I think Section 2 of the Public Holidays Act 1979 vests power on the governor, but that does not make it a concurrent list.
It's exclusive.
Exclusive.
Please don't look at that person. You know, these are the same people.
No, that's why I said he should go check it out.
So many of them, I see them in the dream. So these are people that are fighting me. I'll pray.
Oh, they're fighting you.
They will continue to make mistakes. You're looking at him.
Okay.
Time is going.
Does Master Chimenem know that hospitals and schools are closed because of Tinubu? Considered implications all over the state. Africans. Chris from Eleme.
Can I respond?
So do you know? I want to say yes or no?
Do you know?
I'm aware, they are not closed. That's what I'm saying. And he's not even a patient. Is that what?
The public holidays are across the state.
That's what I'm saying. But for workers, of emergency workers, they are there in the clinic, attending to
schools.
They are attending. They are essential. You see, the young man, some of them are in Palestine. You see all these things, they just don't read, they don't bring. So that's not my problem. If he wants to be a patient, let him go and visit one hospital. They are all on. You know, senior council.
Good morning, Faustina. The governor, when taking certain decisions, should consider some set of people. The commissioning of the flyover has nothing to do with traders around there. Okay. In fact, it would have even boosted their businesses today. And again, he should not think that Asiwaju may be the best choice, because this was how Amechi brought Buhari, and today Nigerians are lamenting. I pray Tinubu should not disappoint Nigeria. God help us. Joseph L.K. Ebenezer from Port Harcourt. Okay, thank you very much. Good morning, presenter. I don't know why few people are complaining. Civil servants that have farms are always grateful when holidays are declared. The same complainers were speechless during COVID-19 pandemic when They were naturally made to be indoors for months. For me, I'm happy for a southern president. Kudos to Ike Wosu Godwin. Okay, Wosu Godwin. Once again, like Associate Professor said, civil servants are happy about this public holiday. If it's every day, they are happy about it. Good morning, presenter. Singto from Port Governor Wike declared public holiday. Please, I want to ask those that know law. Is it the governor that have the mandate to declare public holiday or the government of the state? I mean, only government of the state
the federal government can declare, the state can declare, the National Assembly.
No, I think what the person is trying to do is what I creating the difference between the governor and the government
of the state.
Is it what?
He's asking whether it is the governor of a state that declares or the government of a state that declares.
It's the government. He is representing
the governor is representing.
No, but
he speaks.
He speaks, but he's a government.
So there's no distinction.
He's not speaking.
If anything happens now,
speaking as the governor.
If the president of Nigeria decide to release Nnamdi Kanu now, they will say the government of Buhari.
Yes.
Not only
Buhari.
It's not Buhari.
Okay, so let's move on to this one. On the Punch newspaper, I have delivered on change agenda, says Buhari. Okay, someone said okay. Opinion poll, yes. He has delivered. He said, I have delivered on change agenda, Buhari. The President, Major General Muhammadu Buhari, retired on Tuesday in Abuja, said his regime had delivered change to Nigerians, especially in the area of affordable housing. Appraising his regime's performance in office during the inauguration of a housing estate in Zuba, Abuja on Tuesday, the President claimed that the new housing estate was addressing multi-dimensional poverty among the citizens. But the opposition parties described his claims as bogus, insisting that he performed woefully. Presenting keys to the new homeowners at the Federal Housing Authority, Zuba, Buhari said, and I quote, I convey my hearty congratulations to the new homeowners in this estate. Our promise of change has been fulfilled for you. The president also said the new housing estate was addressing multi-dimensional poverty as the beneficiaries had taken a step up on the ladder of prosperity and away from poverty. Now, the Punch reports that the 9.5 billion naira estate, which is located at 18.5 hectares of land, consists of 16 blocks of 3-bedroom flats in a block of 8 flats, 32 blocks of 2-bedroom flats in a block of 8 flats, 14 blocks of 1-bedroom flats in a block of 16 flats, and 5 blocks of terrace duplexes in 4 rows. Buhari, who has less than 27 days in office, pointed out that investment in housing created employment opportunities for artisans and other skilled members of the society. He urged residents of the estate to consciously work together with the FHA to ensure the maintenance of the property and the safety of the environment. He stated, and I quote, housing supply is one of the indices of multi-dimensional poverty that challenges our people, and the completion of this estate provides a solution for the beneficiaries. The new homeowners who benefit from this estate have taken a step up on the ladder of prosperity and away from poverty. Now, one of the measures that we have consciously deployed to attack poverty, create prosperity and develop our economy is the aggressive provision of infrastructure nationwide. Now, commending the chairman, managing director, members of the board. Okay, let's leave out that part. Let's deal with what the president has said, that he has delivered on change agenda. And I mean, giving this house to the owners at the moment, he says they've moved, up the ladder of poverty, probably moving closer to prosperity, or they're even there yet. And that this is solving multi-dimensional problems. And I'm wondering, housing, how is that delivering on the change agenda? Maybe just on the housing aspect of it. I mean, even looking at the housing sector in the country, how helpful or beneficial has it been, really? Do we have these different estates cut across Nigeria in the different states, because... Okay, but I said he had delivered the change agenda. Emmanuel Ndukwe.
You see, sometimes it pains me when I hear certain statements coming out from leaders. Well, I want to believe that the president must be talking about the housing sector. Because if he's talking about generally, then there wouldn't have been need for him to have made the attempt he did in apologizing to Nigerians. Because he came on the strength of a change agenda. He said it was coming, and they said change. Nigerians couldn't prove whether the change was positive or negative. But they accepted because they wanted change. And of course, change has a sweet sound.
But let's even stick with
bad.
The housing sector.
Thank you. Now I'm coming to that. What I'm saying is that I'm just laying a foundation of what made me believe he must be focused on the housing sector. However, for instance, let's say that maybe just call it 2-bedroom flat, for instance, or was in other administration, maybe were by through government, or it may cost one about probably, let's say 1 million naira to finish everything if it's that high class. Then in Buhari's time, less even, because everything is predicated on assumption, because they didn't give details. Now, if it costs somebody 700,000 in this Buhari's administration, you can see the gap. Then Buhari has performed better. But a man who has a house, it does not end for him in that house. He goes in, he can't feed, nothing, everything around him is in the sky in terms of to this extent. He said no. And that is why the thing is making him the way as if he's mad. I said, you know what will settle